Welcome to this brief introduction to the beautiful game of English billiards. Billiards is a game played on a full-size 12-foot by 6-foot table. People might be familiar with this size table through watching snooker, but in fact the table was originally designed for billiards. Snooker only came somewhat later. Billiards is played with only 3 balls, 2 cue balls, one white with spots and the other yellow with spots, and a red ball. Each player is allocated a cue ball at the beginning and continues to play with that ball throughout the game. Determining who takes which ball is done by stringing for break. Closest to the baulk end cushion gets the choice of order and cue ball colour. Players play to either a set target score or play for an agreed length of time, the winner being whoever is ahead when the timer sounds. Players can earn points by either potting or going into the pocket off another ball. Potting or going off the red is worth 3 points. Potting or going off your opponent's ball is worth 2 points. If the red is pocketed, it comes back up onto the billiard spot, or the black spot in snooker. If the opponent's ball is pocketed, it stays off the table, thereby limiting further scoring opportunities. If the player's cue ball enters the pocket with an in-off or loser, they are said to be in hand and can place the cue ball anywhere in the D for their next shot. They are not permitted to fire directly into the baulk area, that area behind the front line of the D. Because of that rule, sometimes you will see players potting the opponent's ball and then placing one or both of the remaining balls in this protected baulk area, hoping to force the opponent to make an error. The final method of scoring is to make contact between your cue ball and the other 2 balls, called a cannon, which is worth 2 points. It is also permitted to make multiple scores in a single shot, for instance potting the red and scoring a cannon at the same time. With so many different ways to score points, billiards is a very creative game where individual shot preferences and individual strengths make for many varieties in the patterns of play. But having said that, there are quite a few tried and tested patterns of play that can yield consistently higher scores, and the players who know and master those patterns will dominate those with less precision or knowledge. Most players use a knowledge of half-ball angles, the so-called natural path of the cue ball after contact with another ball. Here are some common half-ball positions. Middle pocket loser, cross loser, long loser, short Jenny, long Jenny. The heaviest scoring zone is at the top end of the table. That's because it is where the red is replaced after it is pocketed. At the top of the table, the balls can be kept under close control with the opponent's ball between the billiard spot and the top cushion. The cushion effectively traps the opponent's ball and allows for sequences of cannons and red pots. This pattern of top of the table is called postman's knock because of the rapid double kiss of the cue ball on the opponent's ball. Another pattern of play at top of the table is called floating white. This is where the player uses his cue ball to keep the opponent's ball floating between the red and the top cushion. This requires minute and delicate control of all 3 balls. It is immensely tricky, and the slightest miscalculation with any of the 3 balls and position is lost. If holding the balls at the top of the table is tricky, getting them there in the first place can be just as tricky. While there are an infinite number of ways of herding all the balls to the top, the 2 most common are the drop cannon, or indirect method, and the direct method. The drop cannon is made when the red is on or near its own spot, and the player plays a cannon from the opponent's ball to the red ball, leaving all 3 balls gathered at the top of the table. Drop cannons are notoriously chancy, and it is said that no 2 work out exactly the same. The direct method is generally more reliable, but requires more preliminary shots to set up. It looks like this: a mid-pocket in-off of the opponent's ball to push the ball behind the spot, followed by a red pot to get the red back onto the spot. We hope this very brief introduction adds to your enjoyment in watching and understanding the beautiful precision game of billiards.